Welcome back to Gloved Up Garage. Sorry about the noise in the background. Guess what? It's cold in the garage again. And I'm going to get to work on the 93 FauxBra. The last time that you guys saw this car, I had patched up the floor. And when I was done with that, I didn't get a chance to put it on video, but I went ahead and put some etch primer on the floor just to prevent the metal from flash rusting or causing any problems. So what I'm going to do now is go over top of all of these welded sections, all of the holes that I welded up, and I'm going to put a seam sealer over top of that just to prevent any water from coming up through the floor. Now, once I get this up in the air, I'm going to seam seal the bottom side as well. And then once the seam sealer is dry, I'm just going to put some flat black paint over top of this primer and the seam sealer to protect it from anything, you know, in the future, the carpet rubbing against it, anything like that that would go through the paint to the metal and cause some rust. So I'm going to get to work on that. I'm going to let it warm up in here, and then I'll kick the heater off and I'll get that process going. I'm showing you guys how to use the seam sealer by SEM. This is the product that I'm going to use. This is a seam sealer made by SEM. This is their dual mix line, meaning that both of these plungers have to be pushed down at the same time, which gets the material out. It mixes inside of this tip and then comes out at the end there. This is obviously a used one I've had laying around for a little bit. It should still be good, but I'll purge this material and make sure that it mixes and looks good and that it hasn't separated inside of these tubes before I apply it to the floor. But basically what I'm going to do is come around in some of these areas, put this material down anywhere that I did a patch, a weld, anything like that. I'll seal it from this top side, and then again when I got it up in the air and I can reach the bottom side, I'll go to the bottom side and do the same thing. That short little time lapse actually took me about 5 minutes, and you can see the results. I've got all this spread out very nicely, and I was using that little brush just to kind of level it out, make it not look so bad. This doesn't have to be perfect. Again, the job here is just to get it to seal up so that it won't leak water through. So once this sets up, I've got probably another half an hour or so before it sets up. Then I'll be able to come back and paint this. I'll just prep this primer that's in here with like 600 grit just to kind of knock the shine off of it and the shine off of the seam sealer. And then I'm just going to hit this with some flat black, nothing really fancy, just to seal it up again. You know, I'm just trying to make it look a little nicer than, than the gray that it is. Eventually I could come back with some paint and just put a little bit of paint down here to make it match a little better. But again, this thing won't be seen with the carpet, the console, and everything in here. Nobody's ever going to see this unless they come back in here again, which they shouldn't. So I'll let this set up, hit it with some flat black, and come back in a little bit. Well, my flat black turned out to not be any good, and I shook it up and there's just nothing left in the can. So the only thing I really had on hand was this U-Pole sandable primer. That'll work for now. I might come back in here with some color just to make it look a little better, but again, it's not going to be seen. I just wanted to get all this stuff covered up. This will probably be good enough for now. I'll clean up a little bit of the overspray around here, and then I'm going to vacuum this out really good. I've got the carpet laid out, and the carpet came from another project car that I have. It's actually the black carpet that was in my Jefferson County Police SSP when I first got it. So I'm going to spin over there and let you guys check it out. This is the carpet that was in my Jefferson County Police SSP when I first got it. I think it's aftermarket carpet. It doesn't look to be OEM. The holes are a little jagged around the shifter, around the console bracket, e-brake, and those were the holes for the seat belts. And because of how rusty and nasty that car was, it had a lot of water that got into it. The seat frames actually rusted to the carpet. I think I can clean a majority of the rust up. And honestly, once the seats go into this FauxBra, you're not going to be able to see those spots. The big thing I need to clean up is, while this was in storage for a couple of years, the mice had built a little nest over here in this corner, so it's a little nasty and needs to be scrubbed. My plan with this, and I've had good luck bringing carpet back, I like to hang this up over top of a couple of, taller garbage cans and have it drape over. If I had a chain link fence, that would be perfect, that I could get to like both sides really easy. I've also used sawhorses with like a 2x4 in the middle. That allows me to pressure wash the carpet really, really good. And I usually will pressure wash it first, and then I'll get it down onto the concrete, spray it down with some carpet cleaner or something like a degreaser, and then use those drill powered brushes to really scrub all the fibers of this carpet. In this case, I think it'll get a majority of the rust out of these spots here in the back of the floorboard. It will definitely get all this nastiness up from the mice in this corner. And then once I get it all scrubbed down, I'll put it back up onto the 2x4 and the sawhorses, pressure wash all the degreaser and all the nastiness stuff out of it, get it really good and clean. With this being black carpet, if I do this on a day that's, let's say, 60 degrees outside with some decent sun, this will dry really fast in a matter of a few hours. Then I can go ahead and just put it in the car without really needing to let this sit in the car very long and reform itself. If you don't know, these carpets are kind of form-fitted, and when you get them, a lot of the times they're boxed up. You have to let them sit out in the sun to get their form back, like over the trans tunnel here, and like the floor reinforcement and the rear part. It all gets matted down in the box. You have to get it out, let it get warm, and it'll come back, because these are formed with heat and pressure and vacuum to fit the floor of the Mustang really good. Before the carpet goes in, I've got a couple of things I need to finish up. Go ahead and bolt down the shifter, bolt down the e-brake, and get both of those things squared away with their cables, and the sensor that goes to the e-brake and the light that goes in the shifter. The shifter bezel itself, it's really hard to tell, but man, that thing is super dirty. And it's not bolted down to the base of the shifter either. So I'll need to source some screws and take care of that. I'm going to restore that and the handle for the shifter. Here's the e-brake handle. I'm going to clean it up really good before I put it back in there. And then getting the e-brake hooked back up on this is going to be a blast. This short little cable right here, when you're trying to hook up the cables under the car, it's a lot of fun. Before the carpet can go in too, I obviously need to clean out all the debris, all the metal shavings, the dust and the dirt and the stuff that I did while I was fixing the hole in the floor. So that'll be the next episode, me getting the carpet ready to go in. I'll make sure to film that while I'm getting it cleaned up. And then from there, like I said, I can get those things bolted in. And that will hopefully be the finish of, let's say, part one of this car, is getting all the floor stuff taken care of. So be sure to hit the subscribe button if you like what you see. If you hit the bell icon, you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Going into 2024, I wish everybody a happy new year, much success. Keep up the positivity. I really like the positive comments that I'm seeing. You guys are great. I'm not getting a lot of negative feedback from the stuff that I'm doing. The Explorer is going to make some content appearances this year. The Marauder just about wrapped up on it. I'm going to have some stuff on it and the Lincoln very soon. Just wanted to take a minute to kind of get this knocked out before I did anything else. That's it for now. Remember to stay gloved up.